So the neoliberal Voltron has finally come together. I am currently in Canada with my fiance. I am far away from the hellscape that is America right now. So for months we've been hearing, if you put all these guys together, they have more votes than Bernie. But alas, the rat dropped out, Klobuchar dropped out. What, Ollie? You won't come up? But alas, the rat dropped out, Klobuchar dropped out. They all got behind Biden. Literally a day before Super Tuesday. A day before today. This all happened yesterday. Everyone just dropped out and was like, support Joe Biden. It's like the most transparent and desperate move. Now, most of the supporters of these guys have Bernie as their second choice. But just the fact that they chose Joe Biden is, like, concerning and scary. I could have sworn they were gonna choose Pete Buttigieg to be, like, their corporate hack that they all push. But no, they went with Joe, I think because Joe won South Carolina, which he knew he was gonna win, because the population there is like 75% old people, and that's Joe's core base, is old people. And a lot of people are pointing out, yeah, but, you know, black people are also his thing, and yeah, that's right, but they were mostly old black people. I think the age is the more relevant factor here because Bernie does really well with younger black people. But Joe put all of his eggs into the South Carolina basket. He only campaigned there. He didn't campaign in any of the Super Tuesday states. Let me repeat that. He didn't campaign in any of the other states. He was literally just banking on doing well in South Carolina, which he knew he was gonna do, relying on the media's hype to push him towards winning the entire nomination, which honestly could happen because the media fucking loves Joe Biden, dude. When Bernie won the other three states, the popular votes in the other states, the media just downplayed it, basically ignored it, compared it to the fall of France, to the Nazis. There was just like no celebration. It was just, oh no, this is the worst thing ever. And then Joe wins one state in his 30 years of, like, running. He wins one state, and then the media is just, like, popping champagne bottles. And the worst part is, it might work. The media and the South Carolina win might actually propel Joe Biden to be the nominee. Joe is probably the weakest candidate out of all of them. He cannot, as we know, his brain is legitimately melting. The man is in, like, the early stages of dementia. I've known people with dementia. He legitimately has dementia, or at least has some kind of issue with his brain. He will get steamrolled by Trump. He will be Trump's piñata.
Joe Biden's campaigning, like, slowed way down. And it turns out an article came out saying that he basically stopped campaigning after Bloomberg joined the race. So if you think about it, what that means also is that he's spending less money on campaigning. So obviously a lot of his backers changed over to Bloomberg as soon as Bloomberg joined the race. It's funny to see that he was banking so much on Carolina.
I know. And,
but I mean, it's going to work because they gave him the Buttigieg bump for having a single obvious win.
I know. Heckland.
Nice scarf. Looks super cute.
How is nobody close to him? Like, taking him aside and being like, Joe, listen, you can't do this. Oh, actually, you know what? Obama did that. Obama literally told Joe Biden not to run, which explains why he's not really endorsing Joe. So Obama clearly knows something is wrong. But everyone's just pretending he's fine, which again falls into my theory that they don't care if they lose to Trump. They'd rather lose to Trump than win with Bernie. Because with Trump, he hurts their feelings, you know, they don't like him, he embarrasses them. But he's not really a threat to the party. Bernie Sanders is a legit threat to the party because they're wealthy donors, the military-industrial complex, big pharma, and the corruption in general. Bernie basically wants to drain the swamp that is the Democratic Party. Months ago, Joe Biden's own campaign said that they like to hide him and make him speak less because the more he speaks, the less people like him. His own campaign knew Joe was coasting on name recognition and Obama nostalgia. The average American is not super in tune with politics, so they see Joe Biden, they know Joe Biden, they miss the Obama days when the media wasn't infecting their brain with Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. Don't you want to go back to when it wasn't like this? And that's what Joe will give them. Joe will just give them that, like, happy nostalgia back when Trump wasn't a thing. But they don't understand that neoliberal establishment, that whole thing, is what gave us Trump to begin with. Electing somebody like Biden is just gonna make room for, like, another Trump, but, like, worse. But not only that, because that's assuming Biden even wins. Biden's not gonna win. He brings all of that baggage that Hillary bought, and more, because, again, his brain melting. At least Hillary had, like, a functioning brain. At least she had, like, 3 brain cells. Joe has none, and I actually feel bad making fun of him and, like, making jokes, because, like, this is literally borderline elder abuse. I don't think anyone actually believes that he can beat Donald Trump. I honestly, truly do not think that. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, is a populist, and Trump is a right-wing populist, and they both have really passionate bases, which the wine moms online see as a really awful thing. Bernie supporters are just like Trump supporters. Oh, you mean that we have really passionate bases that post good memes online? So those two forces coming together is an actual challenge. Someone who speaks to the working class and another one who speaks to the working class. Someone who brings out young voters and another one who brings out young voters. That is an actual challenge. Another milquetoast establishment hack who does not bring out young voters at all. Joe Biden's base is like only old people. That's not even an exaggeration. All the polls show his biggest base is everyone over 45. Versus Bernie, who brings out everybody, including independents. Joe doesn't get that. Bernie brings out, like, moderates, conservatives, people who never vote, like me. If Bernie wasn't in the race, I would probably not vote. Joe doesn't bring out anybody. He's low energy. He's depressing to watch. Have you ever watched a Joe Biden speech? It is actually depressing. It's mostly just this low energy, we can't do this. We're America, we're the greatest country, but we can't do this. We can't do that. These things aren't possible, but America's amazing and we could do anything except what most other countries in the world are doing. We can't do that. All those Bernie supporters that stayed home in 2016 or voted third party or voted for Trump, it's gonna happen again if it's somebody like Biden. But if it's Bernie, all those people will vote. Whether the winner in the general is Trump or Bernie, MSNBC loses. But they'd rather lose to Trump because Trump gets them ratings. By the way, Trump needs to stop making good tweets about this because, like, I try my hardest not to like Trump tweets. But he's actually making, like, really good points about this primary. He's like, oh, they're trying to screw over Bernie again. Look what they're doing. Mike Bloomberg's buying the election. And then the blue check marks will be responding to Trump's Twitter like, oh, that's just because you fear Biden. It's like, no, he doesn't. The only person Trump sees as a challenge is Bernie. This has been confirmed by Trump himself and has been confirmed by Tucker Carlson.
Voters massively increased young voter turnout, something that Hillary Clinton struggled to do. And now, out of all the Democratic candidates, performs the best among the white working class. So, you know, if you just look at the data and look at the numbers, maybe they would calm down. But of course, they have other financial interests at stake, is why they really oppose him.
It's interesting. As of tonight, I say this with sincerity, Donald Trump is one of the only people I know of in Washington who recognizes this as a threat. Every other Republican is saying, we want to run against Bernie. I don't think that's wise at all. Cristobal, thank you for that analysis.
Bernie actually has that passion and that winning message, and he actually sticks on policy. All these other people just had Orange Man bad. Don't you wish you lived in the time where Orange Man wasn't here? What are you going to do in a general election against Trump? Just go, at least I'm not him, like Hillary did? It's just such a disaster to the point where I think they know they're gonna lose, and they'd rather lose with Biden than win with Bernie. Now, do I think this is going to work? Do I think, oh, bless you. What is Super Tuesday gonna be like? Which is right tonight. I think it's starting like in an hour. What is Super Tuesday gonna be like? Is this gonna work? Is Biden gonna sweep? Is Biden just gonna dominate? I don't know. I have no idea. I hope not. But we don't know. It's a little too late for the neoliberal Voltron to come together. I don't know if it's gonna have that much of an effect. Why Biden? I didn't expect that. That's, like, sad. You really think Biden is... Really? I actually feel bad because it's almost like they're just doing this because he's the easiest to manipulate. Like, these aren't just gaffes. The media is like, oh, Joe Biden had another gaffe. Haha, quirky, funny. No. And we don't even see him speak that often, so how are they gonna hide it if he's the nominee? It's going to be worse than ever. Ollie, are you still voting for Joe Biden? Are you still voting for Joe Biden, honey? So as I'm editing this, I just found out the worst news. Joe Biden promises to put Beto O'Rourke in charge of gun control. Beto O'Rourke, the epitome of liberals gonna take our guns. Beto wants the police to bust down your door and take your property. Let me just remind you, Bernie himself has called out Beto O'Rourke's authoritarian ass on this. Says it's unconstitutional and a slippery slope. Oh my god, this just made everything worse. This just made everything worse. This just made my anxiety about this fucking election 10 times worse. I want to get off the DNC's wild ride.